right, guys. Welcome back to the podcast of what we like to call Next Gen, maybe Next Gen Level Up. We like to bring people on here who are doing something different, definitely part of the next generation in different businesses, but also, in real estate mainly. But as you've seen before, we've had fashion industries, we've had makeup industries, and today we have a dear friend of mine, but also someone who helps me a lot on my business side. So here is Jonathan. And Jonathan, explain a little bit about yourself and what you do.
All right. My name is Jonathan Movtady. Happy to be here. I'm an attorney. I do residential real estate transactions throughout the state of New York. I've been a member of the New York Bar for 11 years now.
Okay, yeah.
I've done all different types of residential transactions: condos, co-ops, townhomes, single-family, multifamily.
Rent to buy, like we're working on.
Yeah, we have a nice deal working on right now.
Uh-huh.
Rent, option to buy.
Yeah.
And that's all over New York, Western or upstate New York, all the boroughs, Long Island, anything residential. Happy to work on it.
Gotcha. So where are you from originally, and what got you into to this field?
I'm originally from Great Neck, New York, which is in Long Island, Nassau County.
Uh-huh.
My family was involved in the real estate industry, and through that avenue, I decided to get into real estate law.
Mm-hmm.
I've handled plenty of transactions for the family, and more recently, I started expanding my business to work with gentlemen like yourself.
Yeah, love it. So a question, and this is a question that I get a lot, right, in terms of experience and being young. And of course, you have a lot of experience. I think when it comes to experience, a misconception that a lot of people have is time and reps is different, right? You could have been an attorney for 10 years, but only worked 2 days a week, right? So it's like going to the gym. It's like if I'm going to the gym every single day and I'm going for 3 hours and I'm going for a year, and if you go for 10 years and you only go once a day, I get more reps in than you, right? So in experience-wise, I have more than you. So when it comes to experience, I think it's not so much time. It's actually more the reps. It's the repetition. It's the consistency, right? So have you met any sort of pushback on people saying, this guy's too young, or, experience-wise? What's your experience with that?
Well, when I first got started in this business, I definitely did get a lot of pushback. People, looking at me like a young buck.
Yeah, exactly.
But more recently, I would say the last couple of years, that's kind of faded a bit.
Yeah.
And especially
as reputation builds and portfolio.
I've built up a reputation. I actually did a transaction where I was representing Chevy Chase.
There we go.
It was a Serhant deal.
Yeah.
And people around my age recognize him as the GOAT. He's kind of like the Will Ferrell of today.
Gotcha.
And when I did that deal, we actually got some recognition in the New York Post. There was an article.
Okay,
so
awesome.
That definitely helped get my name out, and once I had that recognition, it was kind of like the whole concept of me being too young kind of faded away.
Yeah, once you build valified, right?
Yeah. That was my that's what validated.
Like the turning point of it. Yeah. Uh-huh. So in the beginning, what would you say? Because I get this often, right? And how I would win them over is sort of just by expertise, and because when I show up, they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy with all these tattoos?" Right? But then I show up and it's like an expertise that I provide, and I win them over and stuff like that. So in the beginning, when you were first starting, what were some of the hesitations? I guess if you could think of it, how would you approach a new client that was hesitant about using you?
Well, when it comes to the clients that I deal with, most of them are first-time home buyers.
Right.
So they're fairly anxious. They have a lot of questions, and they're pretty needy. So I make myself available to them. I tell them that they could contact me anytime, and I'm always responsive.
Yeah.
So even if they have a million questions, which they tend to have, I'm happy to help them, guide them through the process.
Yeah.
And give them that direction that they're looking for.
And this is something that's rare, guys, and I want you guys to know this, because you and me have worked on these deals before with a lot of first-time home buyers. when it comes to having an attorney, you want someone who's really like on your side. An attorney can mess up at deals in a lot of ways, and he's the guy who's supposed to be guiding you like step by step. He's the guy who's supposed to, because we can't give you legal advice, your attorney can. So the fact that it's someone that can, like be consistent and someone that can really provide value if you have questions, that opening to answering them and all that other stuff without sort of meeting you with like hesitation or being annoyed and stuff like that. I think that's a huge value that you provide. So I think that's a great thing to have.
Yeah, I agree. And being that my family was involved in real estate, I learned that there are certain attorneys who can make the deal and certain attorneys that break the deal.
Yeah.
So I learned that at the end of the day, we all want to get to the closing.
Of course.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Without the closing, we're not really accomplishing anything. We're just spinning our wheels. We're not getting anywhere. So it's a balance between protecting the client's interests and getting to the closing table. Yeah. You don't want to dwell on every minor detail.
Yep.
You focus on what's important and you move forward efficiently and effectively and get to that closing table.
Yeah. And guys, this in New York is a huge thing, because in New York it's about speed. And not to say that you can't lose quality in the speed, but what he's saying is you need someone that can move fast and sort of not look over, but, combine all those aspects and move forward in a way that everybody is happy and to get to the closing table as fast as possible. And that in New York, I think is number one key, right?
They say time kills deals.
And it does, and especially in New York City. So another question I have for you, and I guess this is more sort of on your marketing side, because in real estate, we market in different ways. How do you go about marketing yourself, like getting new clients and stuff like that, other than this, of course, but like how do you market yourself? Is it referrals or like?
So most of my business does come from broker referrals.
Right, yeah.
And believe it or not, we're in the year 2023, and a lot of what I do is through Instagram.
Social
media.
Yeah, and that's,
I'm sure you could relate to that.
Definitely. But it's a good sign, though, that it's through broker relationships, right? Because that means that brokers have used you in the past, and they like the service that you provided, and that way, and the same with me, right? So we keep referring it that way. And I think that's an important thing. I really do. I want to mention quickly before we end this podcast here, I want to mention that Jonathan here is going to be part of the subscription, and he's going to be part of the next gen. So we're going to have his services on our websites. We're going to have his links to him. He's someone we work with consistently. He's a great guy, and
thank you.
We would love to have you on there. And thank you for coming, Jonathan. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Hopefully we'll do some more of these.
Of course we will. It was a pleasure. Thank you, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe.